Hello, Foxy listeners, and welcome to the show today. Today, we're going to be talking about something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it is so important. We're going to be talking about how to actually work with a business coach so you get real results, not hype, not motivation, not another notebook full with ideas that you, frankly, are not going to implement, but actual real growth. Now, I want to preface this by saying something right out of the gate that might ruffle a few of your feathers, but coaching doesn't fail. It really doesn't. People fail to use coaching properly. And I say that as someone who has been the coach and the client and the person who, frankly, didn't show up properly. So in this episode, I'm not selling you coaching. I am a coach. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to my website. This episode is about helping you to understand how to use coaching well, whether it's with me or anyone else. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Fox Talks Business Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Fox, money mentor, business coach, and author. If you're a business owner who's been around the block but still feels stuck in the financial fog or hustling without getting real results, well, you're in the right place. Each week, I'm going to dive into money mastery, mindset shifts, and real-world strategies to help you grow and profit sustainably. You're going to hear unfiltered conversations, bold ideas, and practical, proven ways to start growing your business. So if you're ready to break past the plateau, make more, stress less, and have fun doing it, let's dive in. All right. I want to start with what coaching is not, because disappointment with coaching often comes from wrong expectations. And a lot of people think, well, there's gray area here. Nah, it's pretty technicolor. So what is coaching not? Well, coaching is not someone fixing your business for you. It is not a magical revenue button that you're just going to hire a coach and all of a sudden, it's going to be like a slot machine paying out. Coaching is not therapy disguised as strategy. It is not just weekly hype sessions. It is not just somebody being like, you got this, woo! And it is also not a replacement for discipline. So if you're hiring a coach thinking or hoping that they will, quote unquote, save your business, you are already starting from the wrong mindset and you're going to end up disappointed because your coach is not your rescuer. What is a coach? Well, a coach should be an amplifier. They amplify your thinking. They amplify your clarity. They amplify your execution and they amplify your results. But they can't amplify what isn't there. So if you're not implementing, if you're not being honest, if you're not willing to look at your numbers, if you're not willing to have some things change, then coaching is going to feel like it's not working. And that's not a coaching problem. That's an ownership problem. So let's talk about what coaching is, because, okay, that's great. It's not any of those things, but what actually is it? So let me break this into, there's 4 pillars that I personally use to sort of grade myself on how I'm coaching with my clients. So I'm going to share those with you. The first thing that I do with my clients is clarity. That's my first pillar, because to me, this is where everything starts. Because most business owners are not stuck because they're incapable. You're all capable, that you started the business in the first place, but they're stuck because they're unclear. They don't have that clarity piece. They're unclear about their numbers, unclear about their priorities, unclear about their offer positioning, unclear about any bottlenecks that they may have. And they're kind of unclear about what actually matters, what's going to actually move that needle for them. And clarity is super powerful because clarity removes the drama. And when you remove drama, money starts behaving. It's almost like it's like a little child. And so And that's what we all want, right? We want our money to behave. We want our numbers to do what we want them to do, but we need to remove that drama and we need to insert clarity. So a coach should help you to see these blind spots, all the blind spots you can't see yourself, which I want you to know is 100% normal, that you cannot see your blind spots. I can't see mine. That's why I have a coach. Because, when you're inside your business, everything can feel urgent, especially if you are having a revenue issue, right? Everything feels like it is just the highest of priorities. So as a coach, it's my job to help you sort of zoom out, see the larger picture, get clarity on everything, and then be able to pinpoint. So after the clarity, we really work on strategy. Now, to me, strategy is not just throwing 62 new ideas at you of stuff that you can do. Strategy is actually choosing what not to do. Okay. And a lot of people are like, when they first hear this, but strategy is about choosing what not to do, because most business owners, they don't need more ideas. What they do need is fewer priorities. So a good coach should be helping you simplify, helping you to focus, helping you to align your offers, helping you to build systems, and helping you to stop overcomplicating. Because strategy without focus creates your burnout. And strategy with that clarity piece that I talked about before, that's what creates the momentum. And when we have the momentum, that's where we move into my third pillar, which is accountability. So this is where things kind of get real for people. Coaching works when implementation happens between the sessions, not during, but between. And this is where I see the biggest breakdown. So I want you to understand something important. And this is what I tell all of my clients. Our coaching sessions at all, sorry, I shouldn't just say mine, but coaching sessions are maybe 5% of your growth. The other 95% happens in what you do after that session. So I want to tell you about a client that I had years ago. She had worked with 2 other coaches before me. She was already in about $28,000 and really, had worked with them, had completed the whole program with them. I think each of them was a year with them, but she had completed the whole year and she had no movement in the needle. She hadn't made any money back from that coaching session, which, just as a side tip note, you should make the money back from coaching. That's the whole idea of why you get a coach, right? But anyways, she was not feeling like she was getting it. Now, we were about 3 months in to coaching. We had just completed our 3rd month. And she was not feeling like her needle was moving. So she asked to have a meeting with me and she said, look, I don't want to do this a whole other year. She was on a monthly payment program. She was like, I don't want to get, to the end of the year and, have thrown, and more tens of thousands of dollars away for nothing. I really just, I want to quit and I want to walk away because I don't want to be out money. So I sat down with her and I said, okay, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to give me 3 more weeks of working with me. And if you are not happy, I'm going to refund the 3 weeks that we're working on. And I'm going to let you out of your contract. No questions, no nothing. But I need you to give me the 3 weeks. And what I started doing with her is I started going back to the accountability pillar because I knew that's where she was getting lost. And we really dug into what was going on with her. And it really was, she wasn't being honest about things because she was scared. She didn't want to admit where her numbers were. She didn't want to admit that she wasn't doing things because they were hard and they made it, and she was uncomfortable with them. So she just wouldn't do them and wouldn't say anything, but then just say, no, it's not working. What you're doing is not working. So when we really got into that honesty piece and that accountability piece, we started seeing where the breakdown was. So what changed for her wasn't the strategy. The strategy that we had worked on, in the second pillar was solid. It was the ownership part. And once she started, changing that, and we worked together because, of course, She needed help with this. But that honesty piece also let me know, okay, I see where she needs more support. So we started changing that. She started changing her ownership. She started implementing consistently. She stopped outsourcing the responsibility of saying, oh, well, that my assistant was supposed to do that. She started to show up differently. And in almost 2 weeks, it was about only 2 weeks, everything shifted, she said. All of a sudden, it was working. And I said to her, it's not that my coaching suddenly started working. You started working the coaching, and that is the biggest difference. So really having, that accountability and that honesty is so, so important. And I got to tell you, she is still with me to this day. She is one of my best and biggest clients. She has seen the most growth. She grew so she ended up finishing the whole year with me. And then she said, wow, she had, I think it was like a 35% increase in profit, not revenue, but in profit. And she's like, I want to keep this momentum. And the second year, when she had that, full year and she was really implementing consistently, she was taking ownership, she was embracing the change, and she was doing the work in between our sessions. She just absolutely blew up in what it was that she was doing. So I just absolutely adore her. She's like one of my favorite people. But again, she made the difference and she started working the coaching, not the other way around. So the last thing that we work on, but kind of one of the most important things, and this is one of the things that in that final year of working with in the story, the client that I had in the story, was really mindset. Now, I know a lot of you might be rolling your eyes. Stay with me. I'm not talking about affirmations. I'm not talking about sitting on the couch or cutting magazines out and putting them on a board. There's a place for that. It's not here. This is not the mindset I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just pretending everything is fine and it'll all be great. The mindset I'm talking about is identity. So if you see yourself as overwhelmed or bad with numbers, if you see yourself as, say, like not organized or someone who really struggles with follow through, your actions will match that identity. Our mind I love learning about the brain and kind of how it works. And it's just so interesting. But your brain is like a computer. So there's no, it's data, right? It's just data that's in there. So if you sit there and you go, I'm really bad with numbers. It's almost like your brain goes, oh, she said she was bad with numbers. Everybody go find the evidence. And so your brain goes out to find the evidence to support your thoughts. So it goes, yep, here you go. You went to the cashier and it was, $19.10 and you gave them $20.10. And so you should get $10 back. See, you're not working. It's not right. You're bad with numbers, right? You will find that. So because your actions match your identity. So we need to change that. Mindset work in coaching shouldn't be just fluffy shit of like you writing down 3 things that you want to accomplish that day or you cutting shit out of a magazine. That stuff is fluffy. It's not that it doesn't have a place, but it's not practical. And the mindset work that I want you to do is practical mindset work. Okay. I want you to start, and this is where your coach comes in to help you, seeing what mindset do you have right now and how do we need to shift that? And also helps you to find the evidence to prove the latter. So if you think you're bad with numbers, there's 2 things we do. Either we help you as a coach, I'm going to help you find the evidence that you're actually not bad with numbers, or I'm going to teach you how to not be bad with numbers. And that's going to give you the evidence that you're not bad with numbers anymore because now you know, right? So a lot of people will say, well, that's great and everything, but how is this mindset going to help me? Well, there's no such thing. People will say, oh, I hit a revenue ceiling and I can't get past it. There's no such thing as a revenue ceiling. You've hit an identity ceiling is what you've done. That's what you've hit. So that's what we need to work with. And that's where the mindset comes in. Because if you keep old, incorrect mindsets, strategy will start to collapse because your habits don't change, right? I can give you all the strategy in the world, but if you are still thinking, if you're still convincing yourself that you're bad with numbers, you're not organized, and you can't do this, your habits aren't going to change. And if your habits don't change, no strategy that any coach gives you is going to work. So it's really important to work on those things. So just as a quick overview for you, the first one is clarity. The second one is strategy. Then after strategy, so just a quick overview on those ones for you. The first one that what coaching should be, the 4 pillars. The first one is clarity. The second one is strategy. The third one is accountability. And the fourth one is mindset. So, well, how do we make this tactical? Well, if you're investing in coaching, here's how you can make it worth every single dollar. And some of these you're not going to like, but I need you to do all 5 of them. So the first one is you need to come prepared to your sessions. Never show up to a coaching session saying, I don't know, what should we talk about? What's up, buddy? Don't do that. I want you to bring numbers. I want you to bring decisions. I want you to bring problems. And I want you to bring context. The context is an important one because I have a lot of people who come to me and go, I'm unhappy with my revenue. Okay, why? I don't know. I just want to make more money. Perfect. Why do you want to make more money? I don't know, because I want more money. Okay. How do you want to make more money? I don't know. Again, it's that context piece, right? So you have to bring context. What's the who, what, where, when, and why of why you want these things that you want? Because by doing all of this, by bringing your numbers and your decisions and your problems, and also bringing that context piece, you can respect the time of the call. So do not get on your call and start talking about, oh, I went here and I went there and I have this funny story for you. And, I went out or I had this weird date. You're wasting your money. It's your time. Get your money's worth out of your coach. Respect that time. So number 1, come prepared. Number 2, you have to track your metrics. You need to know your revenue, your expenses, your conversion rates, and your time allocation. If you don't know these, you're guessing. And guessing is extremely expensive. And I'm going to let you in on something. Where most people lose money is time allocation, because I have yet to meet somebody who I have not sat down with and done a time audit with them, and they were bang on and they knew what they were doing. There is always somewhere where time is missing and money is missing. So that one is an important one to pay attention to. The third one is implement before asking for more strategy. This one is a big one too. Stop asking your coach for new ideas when you haven't even executed the current ones that they gave you. If you need more time, if you have your second meeting and you're like, you know what, I'm struggling with this. You told me to look at my numbers last week. I'm trying, but it's just not making any sense to me. Or I just look at it and I get really overwhelmed and I get really depressed. So I stopped, right? Then you need to take a pause and not move forward on your strategy so that you can figure out what's going on with these current strategies that I have, and I need help to implement them. Okay. So stop asking for new ideas. Implement the ones that you already have first, execute those ones first, and then move forward, because your coach should be having a certain path that you're taking. And there's a reason why we work on certain things before other things, right? There's a whole train track that we're going, right? We know that we're taking you on a journey, and there's certain things that we need to do, like checking the car, making sure it's full of gas before we jump down the road trip. So really making sure that you're doing that implementation, because depth of that implementation is where you're going to start to see growth. Okay. Consistent pivots is where you're going to get lost, where you're going to get overwhelmed, where you're going to start to feel like it's just not working because nothing is sticking. The fourth thing that you need to do is be honest. Tell the truth. If you didn't implement it, say it to them. If you are avoiding something, admit it. If you're scared, say it out loud to your coach, because coaching only works when honesty is in the room. If you are turning around and saying, oh, no, I have no issues looking up my number, I understand everything. And then you're off a call with me and you're in freaking tears because you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm so stupid, I should know this already. That's not helping you. I don't want you to feel like that. I just want you to be honest. I want you to say, you know what? I don't understand this. I need help. Or I'm scared to look at this because it's just so overwhelming to me. Again, I'm going to be able to come in and go, okay, let's do it together, right? Let's solve this. I'm going to show you why it's not scary. Okay. Because I promise you, numbers aren't scary. They're just data. That's all. There's no emotion to them. And I'm here to help you show that. So really being honest is where your coaching is going to like zoom and just take you to the next level. Remember the story I just told about my client. Once she started being honest, things started changing for her in drastic levels, and still to this day. Now she's like the honesty queen. She'll come and go, no, I didn't do that. Totally didn't do it. Dropped the ball, was going to lie to you, but I'm telling you the truth. Okay, we pause, we start implementing that thing, right? So be honest, and your coach should be okay with that. I'm not going to scold you. I'm not going to, you're not a child. You're not going to get grounded for it. We're going to deal with it, and I'm going to help give you the tools, or I'm going to sit there with you to get through it. And the fifth thing is protect your implementation time. This is such a huge thing. So I told you before that I was the person that wasn't doing the work. So here's my story. So when I think it was the second time I got a coach, the business was going really, really good. I had a couple of offices. I had a lot of plates in the fire. And I thought, you know what? My first coaching experience was really, really good. I had a fantastic coach who really helped me to see things. And it had been about a year from working with her. And I was like, I'm going to hire a new coach because, that really helped me. So what I decided to do was I found this coach that I liked, and we started working together, and I was doing everything last minute. Like I would be, our coaching sessions were on Monday mornings. So Sunday night I was sitting down and doing the homework. Frankly, I was lying about some of the homework. I was like, I should be saying that I did this, this, and this. And so I was BSing my way through it. Let's be honest. And I really wasn't, because what was happening was I wasn't protecting my implementation time. I actually wasn't even scheduling it in. Right. And I was using the excuse, like, just things are really busy. I got a lot of stuff in the fire. I have all of these employees. I'm in the middle of review. I was using a ton of excuses. And it was really learning that implementation time had to be important when I was working with a coach. And now I actually take a full day off when I know I'm having my meetings with my coach. And when I first started coaching, I was having biweekly meetings, and now, I have monthly sessions. But after my coaching session, the next day, I automatically book the whole day off. And that's my implementation day, when it's fresh and I'm excited and we've had these conversations and I'm feeling motivated. And that's when I start implementing it. And absolutely nobody is allowed to overtake that implementation time. It is non-negotiable. It does not matter, right? It does not matter who has something urgent, what's on fire. That time, I don't give up. And, learning it the hard way was really wasting a lot of money for myself on a coach by my own fault, because again, I wasn't following through on things and I wasn't being honest. So, because truthfully, buying coaching doesn't create results. Blocking time to execute what the coach is giving you, that's what is going to start giving you results. So you need to protect your time from implementation. If you don't, and you're not doing that implementation, you're going to convince yourself that the coaching isn't working. But what is really happening, the truth of it, is that you're not giving it the space it needs to work. The very final thing I want you to do, and this is a hard one for a lot of people, but I want you to stay when it gets uncomfortable in coaching. Because let me tell you, I don't think you could find one client that I've had in the past or that I currently have that would say, no, Tanya never makes me feel uncomfortable. They would be like, yep, she totally does. Because growth feels uncomfortable. Changing habits feels uncomfortable. Raising prices feels uncomfortable. Looking at your number, looking at your financial reports, that is usually the one that feels really uncomfortable for people. The moment that coaching starts to stretch you and you get that uncomfortable feeling, that is not the moment to retreat. That is the moment to lean in. So to me, when a client comes to me and says, you're asking me to do these things, I'm really uncomfortable, I celebrate it. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited that you're comfortable, because that means I'm pushing you. I'm pushing those boundaries. I'm pushing those old beliefs that you have. And I know that if I can get you to lean in those uncomfortable moments, God, you're going to be coming out on the other side and it's going to be absolutely incredible. So let's review those super quick. So here's how you're going to get results from coaching. Number one, you're going to come prepared. Number two, you're going to be tracking your metrics. Number three, you're going to implement before you ask for more strategies. Number four, you're going to be honest with what's going on. Number five, you're going to protect with the biggest guard you ever have, your implementation time. And number six, you're going to stay even when it starts to get uncomfortable. So let's be clear. Who is coaching for? Well, coaching is really for, okay, I'm going to talk about me because that's the easiest thing to do. So for me, coaching is for, I look for people who have been in business for 3 years, right? Because you got the numbers, you got the stuff behind you, and that's who I can really help. But that's not to say that if you're in, year -1, which I mean, you haven't actually opened your business yet. So I call that -1 year. If you're like under that 3 years, you can still do coaching, but it's a little bit of a different kind of coaching for that, right? So you need to already be making money. That's when you should start hiring a coach, is when you're making money. When you are feeling like you've plateaued, right? You kind of feel like you've hit a ceiling, or maybe you just feel like you're stuck, like nothing's really moving. Coaching is only for you also when you are ready to be open to feedback. And some of that feedback is going to hurt. You're going to have hurt feelings. You have to be kind of ready for that. You have to be willing to look at your numbers. If you're coaching with somebody and they're not looking at your numbers, I have no goddamn idea how they're helping you. I really don't. Now, that being said, I am not saying that your coach has to have an accounting background like I do. I'm not saying that they have to have, the ability to forensically audit your finances like I can, but they need to be looking at your numbers. They need to see what you're doing, where you're going, what your revenue is, what your expenses is, your time allocation, all of those things. So you need to be willing to look at those too. And the most important thing is that you need to be ready to take ownership, that this is your business. This is your life. This is something you've put your heart and soul to. And you're the reason it's not working. But you're also going to be the reason why it's the biggest success you've ever had. And that's what we're going to focus on. And all of those things, okay, so that's who coaching is for. Who's coaching not for? Well, coaching is not for, if you want quick hacks that are all, if you want that get rich quick scheme, then coaching is going to be a waste of money for you. If you are somebody who's just looking for somebody to come in and rescue you, you're going to be disappointed with coaching. There's other people that you can hire to come in and literally take over your business. Like, go hand me the keys and I'm going to fix it. Coaching is not for you. If you are somebody who is going to constantly avoid responsibility and just be like, it's not my problem, it's not my problem, you're going to waste money on coaching. And if you're not willing to go, you know what, there are habits that I need to change. If you were like, I'm not changing anything, you work with me as I am and who I am, you're going to waste your money on coaching. It's not judgment. I like, it really isn't judgment. If you're like, yeah, I do want a quick hack. I do want somebody to rescue me. And I'm going to take responsibility for absolutely none of it. And I'm not going to change anything that I do. I'm going to stay exactly the same. I mean, good on you. It's not judgment. It's just alignment, right? You finding a coach that is a right fit for you, that makes all the difference in the world. So as an example, if you are somebody who has been hiding from their numbers, let's say, and you hire a coach that has no financial background, but your revenue and expenses are out of control, you're hiring the wrong coach, right? It's not a good fit. You need somebody who knows how to look at that. You need somebody who knows how to see the stories your numbers are making and how to change that story. Okay. If you're somebody who has all of your numbers in line and you know it, you're paying attention to it, you're looking at it, but your implementation really sucks and you are hiring somebody that has nothing to do with accountability, it's not the right fit, right? So really making sure that you are hiring the coach with the right fit for what you actually need is really, really important. So let me leave you with this. Coaching works. It really, really does. But it really only works if you do. It's not about, necessarily finding the perfect coach who's going to have absolutely every single thing you need, because by the way, that doesn't exist. There's always going to be other things because you're going to grow, right? You're going to grow. And if you outgrow your coach, that's amazing. I love it when my clients outgrow me because that means I've done everything to the best of my ability to help them grow. So that's an exciting time for me. But it's really about showing up as the right client. So it's about showing up ready for clarity, ready to do practical strategy, ready to have accountability that's going to stretch you, and ready for someone who is going to call you forward, not just cheer you on with idle pom-poms, because that's when coaching can be transformational. And if you feel like you've plateaued, or maybe your business just kind of feels heavier than what it should be at this moment, or you're just feeling, you know what, I'm capable of more, but I just can't seem to find that freaking door to unlock it. But I know this isn't it. I know this isn't where it ends for me. Then that's when the support really matters. I want you to also remember that you don't have to do business alone. Even if you're a solopreneur, you do not have to do business alone, but you have to do the work. And when you can combine the two of not doing it alone and putting your time and effort into doing the work, man, that's when things really start to change. So when you're looking at a coach, I want you to think of all of these things. So I want you to head to the blog post on this, because I'm going to have lots of notes in there. And I mean, you can just copy and paste it, right? And really look at these things when you're hiring a coach and question them on it. Question them on those pillars. Do you follow, these pillars? Are you doing this? Because if you have everything, if you are showing up as the perfect client, then damn well make sure that your coach is showing up as the perfect coach, right? As the perfect fit. I shouldn't say perfect coach, but make sure they're showing up as the perfect fit for you and what it is that you need. And if you're curious about that, reach out, right? I will do a free discovery call with you. I'll see where you're at and I'll let you know. I'll let you know what type of coach you need. And I want to preface this. I just had a call last week with a lady, and we sat for a long time because she just had such a complex thing. It was so interesting to talk with her. So I think we talked for about 45 minutes on this call, and she was telling me about her business and everything and what she needed. And I had said to her after, okay, I need a couple of minutes to just kind of get this through in my head. So I said, but I really want to refer you to somebody because I know the type of coach that you need. And although I can do this, there's somebody else that I think is a better fit for you. And it was funny because she was like, you mean you're not taking me? And I was like, no, I'm not. Because although I think we could work really good together, I think you're going to get farther and faster with somebody else that I know that is really good in this field. That's really good. So she has quite a large staff, and there was issues going on with that. And I had somebody who works on that, right? Who works on, you know, dealing with that diversity and team leaders, and he is just such an expert in his field. So I was like, I really want you to work with him. So I'm telling you this story because I don't want you to be shy about booking a discovery call with me, that it's just going to be a sales call, because I just personally don't work that way. If I think I can help you, I'll tell you. But if I can't help you, I'm going to tell you that too. And if I know somebody who can help you, I'm going to refer you to them, because what I want you to have is success, because it always comes back. It has always come back to me since I first started my business. So I really, really strongly believe in that. So don't be scared. And if you're like, I'm not too sure if I can be, you know, a good client, if I can show up as the right client, we'll talk about that too. So I hope this gave you some food for thought on how, you know, are you a person who's really putting everything that you need to put into to make your coaching successful, or do you need to make some changes? So we have some amazing stuff that's going to be coming up on the show. I am so excited about this year and about this lineup. But I still love hearing from you guys. So this episode itself came from one of you guys sending me a message and saying, yeah, but how do I know that coaching is for me? And how do I know I'm picking the right coach? How do I know I can actually get the most out of it? And so I created this episode. So I really do take your emails. I read them all. I listen to them all. So keep on sending them. And remember, no matter what it is that you are doing today, take time to have fun. Because if you're not having fun, why are you doing any of it?